magnified in the postseason. I just want to go back to the 7th inning when Verlander leads off of the walk to Bird.
And he had a walk to hit. The 3-1 pitch to hit. The 3-0 pitch to Hicks was a ball. That's what you're going to give me, right?
That the fact that they had to review a ball that obviously hit Castro right on the arm.
Listen, I saw some bad balls and strikes, but I saw them for both teams. The Yankees got outplayed in both games. They didn't hit a lick in either game. Very hard to make a case for the Yankees when they're not going to hit it all in either game.
Don't you think it would have forced Hinch to make a really tough decision?
No, he wouldn't.
The ball
I think he would have stayed. I think he would have stayed with him. I think he would have left it Verlander if he wanted to stay in. Would have left him in. Ifs, buts. The bottom line is the Yanks didn't hit a lick in these last 2 games. Not a lick. In Game 7 they allowed him to throw 28 straight curveballs. Okay, that's how out of it the Yankees were by that point. The Yankees in 4 games there did not score any runs. They scored 3 runs in 4 games in Houston. You can't whine about the umpiring when you score 3 runs in 4 games. Was the ball to Hicks a ball? Yes, it was a ball. It was outside. So be it. You know what? The Yankees didn't hit. The only guy in game 7, the only guy who had a good approach at the plate the whole game was Bird. John joins us. What's up, John?
Hey, Mike. Nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, what's happening?
First of all, on the Yankees, I like to see them work on hitting the curveball in the off season.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, okay. Is that all? Okay.
No, that's not all.
Yeah.
But anyway, some of the players I think are probably going to be moved. Betances is number 1. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be back next year. They're probably going to entertain offers for Gardner again.
That would be a mistake, I think. That would be a mistake.
Well, you know what? He had a decent year, but he also had a lot of strikeouts.
That would be a mistake. The guy had a tremendous year, and he's a leader, and he had 1 million big hits for the Yankees this year. 1 million.
Well, Castro's another guy that is due for a raise next year or the following year, and they do have an abundance of infielders in the minors.
That might be true. The Glabatores might take one of those jobs. That's very true. But you know what? You didn't even get to the important stuff yet, which is the pitching. Okay, they're going to have Glabatores move in there. He's going to take somebody's job. He probably will take Castro's job. It might happen this year. It might not happen this year. We'll see. I don't think Frazier will resign with them. It just doesn't make a lot of sense for them to commit to him with what they have coming. Even though he was a nice addition and he did a good job, he'll probably have to. I'm sure he'll get offers, multiple-year offers from a bunch of teams. So I think it's unlikely. I think CeCe will be back. Gaudy, iffy, one way or the other. You don't need him and Ellsbury. If you can't trade Ellsbury, maybe you deal Gaudy. They'll miss Gaudy if they lose him, though. They will miss him. Steve in Rockland County. What's up, Steve?
Hello?
Yes, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Mike.
Good. What's up?
So I would like to see CeCe retained.
Well,
obviously,
I don't think it's a question. I think that's an easy one.
Excellent. That's excellent. I think that Brett and the idea that any Yankee fan after the season he had, it was just one of those things where, I think it was like beginning of September, and, you were saying, oh, yeah, he slows down in September. And all of a sudden, he must have heard you. He must have had those rabbit ears because, boy, oh, boy, he had a great September, did he not?
Who?
Gardner.
No, not really.
Well, he had a pretty good September, Mike, compared to in the past.
No, he really didn't have a great September. I mean, he had a good year.
A lot of big hits.
Listen, they got young players, and young players are going to push older players. So if it happens, it happens. It's okay. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. If they're ready to move on from Gaudy, they move on. That will not make or break the team. We know that. I would like to keep him. I don't think they can keep him and Ellsbury. You got Frazier's going to be in the outfield. You got Hicks is in the outfield. I mean, as you saw in that series, Hicks gave you defense. Hicks gave you no offense in that series. I'm not a Hicks. I don't like Hicks offensively. I never have. And they like him better than I do. And he had his moments. He didn't hit it all in the ALCS, and they kept playing him, which I don't have a problem with because his defense was good. But he didn't give anything offensively in that series. Anything. He had a nothing series. Bob in Manhattan. What's up, Bob?
Hey, Mike, thanks for 30 years, man.
Thank you.
Don't want to. You're welcome. I don't really want to hear about next year with the Yankees. The Yankees got on a plane in New York, and the Mets got off the plane in Houston. That was awful in Game 6 and 7. Joe Girardi is missing nothing up his sleeve, man. I don't even know the guy's name who shut them out in Game 7. I couldn't tell you his name.
Well, that happens,
And they made
though.
him look like Cy Young.
Well, it happens all the time. I mean, it happens in baseball, Bob, all the time. It's not anything new. It's not anything new. It happens plenty of times. You know what? Some days you don't hit. It's not anybody's fault. They're a young team. Listen, once they got beaten Game 6, they had no more momentum. That was gone. That momentum was going to last one day. What they took out of Yankee Stadium, Astros looking terrible, Yankees, rolling, was going to last one day. As soon as Verlander shut them down, that was gone. That's their momentum. And that's exactly how it went. We talked about it for the whole day Friday. It was going to be very hard to win Game 7. No one was surprised by it. It's a very hard thing to do historically. It's not an easy thing to do. You're there in the town, and now Houston starts to feel very good about themselves. Verlander changed that whole series. He was the difference in that series. In a big way, he was the difference. And the two teams clearly hit in their ballparks and didn't hit on the road. Astros didn't hit in Yankee Stadium. They didn't hit in Houston. They had an extra game. That turned out to be the difference. They couldn't be more equal, the two teams. Jimmy in Staten Island. What's up, Jimmy?
Yeah, Mike, the guy that was just on the phone about Gardner, something on the sleeve, he did nothing to help the team produce a run. He had him and the Astro coach had center fielders that were 0 for 40.
Oh,
Nobody did anything to produce a run. I understand, but 2-1, 2-1, 7-1, 4-0.
Well, what are you going to do?
We can
Listen,
get a run somewhere.
It's pitching. It's pitching. Pitching wins these games. You think it's something new? I mean, go back and look. You want me to show you this World Series where the Yankees didn't hit for the whole World Series? I can show you them. You go look at the '63 World Series and tell me if you want to get rid of the Yankees and get rid of Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris and the guys that didn't hit in that series. I mean, it happens. I'll show you a series where Joe DiMaggio didn't hit or Yogi Berra. I mean, good pitching shuts down good hitting, especially in a short series. And Game 6 and 7, the Yankees didn't hit. Chris in Hicksville, what's up, Chris?
Hey, Mike. Quick point on Gardner and then a quick question on Tanaka. I know I've read through the years that Cashman is a big Gardner guy, so I would think that would come into the decision, and his contract is kind of very reasonable.
But they don't have room for him in Ellsbury, and they can't trade Ellsbury.
They can't. They even
not with that contract. Not with that contract. I mean, they have to eat the contract.
Eat half or 60%. They still.
I think they'd have to eat a lot. A lot.
Okay. My question to you about Tanaka is, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, a friend of mine told me in August, he thought there was a good chance he'd opt out.
I don't see any reason. I mean, if I'm his agent, I tell him not to opt out.
I agree, but everything I've read over the weekend points to the marketplace being very favorable to him. If he does opt out, do you think the Yankees just go in another direction, get a reasonable starter, and then
if you're talking about replacing Tanaka, the Yankees are going to have to pay upwards of $20-something million for that pitcher, and I don't even know what pitcher's available.
Right. Well, maybe they go and get a veteran starter to I don't know. Maybe
well, I'm saying there's not a lot. So now you got to trade players. So now they're going to want to take your young players and take them off your hands. So the first thing they're going to do is you go ask for somebody's really good starter. They're going to say, okay, we want Gleyber Torres. We want your hard throwing youngsters. The Yankees have 5 prospects who are in the top 100. They're going to want 3 of them if you go to take a star pitcher.
No, I'm not talking about a star pitcher.
Well, then you have to be back in the market for Tanaka. That's all there is to it.
Could they replace Tanaka with a bridge starter until a kid?
No, it's not a bridge starter. Tanaka is a guy who, on his best day, is a star. So if you're going to go get a guy that you can have pitch like that in the postseason, you're going to have to go get a big starter, and you're either going to sign him as a free agent to a ton of money, or you're going to have to give up kids to get him. There's no in between. Now, the Yankees can re-sign Tanaka. If the Yankees like Tanaka so much, they can just tack on a couple of years to that contract and give him 5 years with, the same kind of money. If they feel comfortable giving him that kind of length with his status, with his he was very iffy this year. He was inconsistent. He needs days off. We know he's had some arm injuries. So you got to take that all into account. If the market's so favorable that Tanaka can dump $67 million for 3 years, and he's going to guarantee himself that he's going to do better than 22 and change a year for 3 years, if he's going to do better than that, then the market's extremely high, and the Yankees are going to be paying through the nose. Sal in Brooklyn, what's up, Sal?
Mikey, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
What's up?
Hey, we know baseball's an easy game. If you don't score runs, you're not winning. Case closed. You're right with Hicks in center. I mean, they can love his defense all they want. The guy has absolutely zero as far as his stick comes. And
he did hit during the season, so I just didn't hit in the series.
Michael, you know what they say. April and September don't count because April the pitchers didn't catch up, and in September.
Yeah, but he did hit during the season. To be fair, I mean, this year he did hit pretty well. But I've never been a big fan of his offense. I've never liked him offensively.
And then with Tanaka, if he's going to opt out, he's going to opt out. He really didn't give us a solid. He gave us great playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but he really didn't. He wasn't that ace during the regular season that you wanted, that you're paying that 20.
Yeah, but he was in the postseason.
No, correct. But
so if you're going to try and duplicate that, though, you got to have a guy who has that kind of quality in him. That kind of guy is going to cost you $25 million a year. To have a guy who can hit that kind of height in the postseason, like Tanaka hit. Tanaka pitched like a star in the postseason. He pitched like an ace in the postseason. The biggest game of the postseason pitched was Tanaka's Game 3 against the Indians, and he pitched brilliantly. Because Carrasco gave up nothing in that game, and he had to match him, and he did. He not only matched him, he was one better. Not that he was one better than the Indians. He wasn't better than Carrasco because Carrasco didn't give up any runs. Right? The home run came off Miller. So the point is, he was great in that game. And he had to be because, and I understand Judge brought back a 2-run homer. And Judge made a great catch the other night, did he not? Wow, the catch he made against Lindor was an easy catch. The catch he made the other night was just a great catch. That was sensational. Here's the Make Man.